Hi, and welcome to today's session titled How Project Management Can Help You Grow Your Business, brought to you by Wave Management Consulting. My name is Fahad Saada. I am a certified project management professional. I am the founder and managing director of Wave Management Consulting. I have more than 20 years of experience in different cultures and different sectors. My experience covers a wide spectrum of industries. I worked on various project sizes, and I helped set up project management offices, project management methodologies. I delivered training and consulting to various organizations. I will be your presenter for today's session. In this session, we will be talking about some of the basics of project management. We will talk or discuss who needs project management and how you can grow your business and succeed or achieve higher levels of success using project management. So, if we ask ourselves, what is a project? A project, the definition of a project is it's a temporary endeavor undertaking to create a unique product, service, or result. And I would like to highlight the two words, temporary and unique. These are the two main characteristics of a project. Temporary means that every project has a start and an end date. It doesn't matter how long the project takes, whether it's a 1 month or 3 month project or it's a 3-year project. It has a definite start and definite end, and that's the important thing. It is not an ongoing task that is performed regularly as a routine task or work, such as end-of-year appraisal for employees. This is not a project, for example. Having known the definition of a project, what is a project, I would like to define what project management is, but I will do it in the other way around. I will define what project management is not. I think this will make the picture clearer for us. So, what project management is not? It's definitely not sending emails, and it's not giving orders to your subordinates or employees or staff. And it's not finding excuses for problems or issues, and it's not pointing fingers to others. Project management is not putting out fires. You've probably seen many situations where the so-called project manager or project team are in a panic and just running around trying to fix issues and put out fires, etc., etc. Project management is not reporting, and it's not finger pointing, as we said before. A sad fact that unfortunately many so-called project managers do. And it's definitely not complaining about problems or difficulties. So these are some of the things that project management is not. So let's define what project management is, so that we understand the real definition or the real essence of project management. Project management is said to be the application of knowledge, skills, tools and techniques to project activities in order to implement the project objectives or requirements. So we have a set of tools and skills. We combine those with techniques and the knowledge of the project management team. Using those or applying those characteristics to to the project activities, or we call them tasks, is project management. And of course the objective is to achieve the project requirements. Some of the common problems that we face in projects, and I'm sure many of you will relate to those: scope creep, or unclear scope, or deviation from scope, schedule overruns. How many projects have you guys worked on where you in fact finished the project on time? I've seen numerous projects for which the teams or the people exceed the project schedule by 50% or even 100%, so that if the project duration was 6 months, they would finish it in 12 months instead, or even 18 months. It's a disaster, really. Cost. Many projects suffer cost overruns or budget overruns. They end up spending more than they expected, or they end up spending more than they thought or estimated they would spend. Issues during projects, and I would like to highlight the word here, or the phrase, firefighting. The reason is, there is no project with no issues. Anyone who comes to me and tells me my project doesn't have issues, I will not accept that. If you don't have issues in your project, then there is a serious issue. Then you have overlooked something. Perhaps you're not monitoring your project properly, and that's why you think there are no issues. But issues in the sense of firefighting, some projects are plagued with issues to the extent that the whole project team spend all of their time just putting out fires, not really achieving or making progress, but fixing issues. Gold plating. Gold plating is a term that is used when the project team or the firm, they try to please the customer by adding more to the project scope or delivering more. This is called gold plating, and it is highly unadvisable, and it's not recommended at all. Resource utilization is one of the common problems. We don't seem to do proper resource planning and utilization, and we get times during which all of our resources are busy and occupied doing tasks on projects, whether it's our project or someone else's project, and during other periods we get possibly the same resources having not much work to do and not being utilized properly. This resource utilization or lack of utilization is probably tightly related to the firefighting, where we gather all resources and we channel all of our resources, efforts towards fixing issues and putting out fires. And other common problems or other problems do exist. We cannot talk about them all here, but these are probably some of the main common problems that we all face in our projects. So, to the subject of today's presentation, how can project management make profit? How can it really help me? Basically, the whole concept of project management, making profit and helping my business grow, is centered around a structured approach towards project management. So we need to have a structured approach to the way we do project management or executing our projects. So we have a methodology, project management methodology. Add to that the knowledge and combine it with coaching, mentoring, guidance that is provided by expert consultants. These three will guide you to success. So, from this, we can see that is the full picture of the idea that project management can help you make profit and grow your business. Right, show me the money. Of course, we all want to have higher success. We all want to make more profit. We all want our businesses to grow. So how can we do that? Again, this is the essence of what we are talking about today, guys. We said we need a solid project management methodology. Having a solid project management methodology will help me get more business. How? Throughout my experience, people or clients, let me call them, are becoming more and more aware of the importance of project management. Perhaps because they have suffered enough from undisciplined contractors or subcontractors, people who perform the projects for them. Those clients probably have suffered enough to the extent that they started demanding and dictating that main contractors or subcontractors have structured and solid project management methodology that they have to follow throughout the execution of their projects. So you start seeing clients in their request for proposals or bids, they actually put it as a condition that the bidder should have well-equipped and certified project management professionals, and they demand that those bidders have solid and well-established project management methodology. So when you have a solid project management methodology, you can guarantee more business because you qualify for those bids and you will be ranked highly among the competitors. Customer satisfaction. Now, when you follow proper project management and proper project management methodology and you apply the best practices during the execution of your projects, you are guaranteed to achieve higher levels of customer satisfaction. Your customers, they simply will be impressed by your professionalism and your work ethics and your methodology and standards and well-established systems. All that will guarantee continued business, at least with those customers. So when you impress your customers, you get customer satisfaction and you will be listed as a preferred supplier. So for their next projects or projects to follow, you will probably be shortlisted immediately among the preferred suppliers. And believe it or not, some customers actually deal with those preferred suppliers directly. They don't even go for the bidding process because they tried you, they trust you, they know the quality of your work and the level of professionalism that you have, etc., etc. So they take, you can call it a shortcut or something like that. They don't go through the bidding process and they keep working with their preferred suppliers. And you will be one of them when you implement project management, proper project management practice. When you apply project management, again, proper project management practice, and you adhere to it, your chances of finishing your projects within budget or even under budget are much, much higher. And that means you don't spend more. You don't have cost and budget overruns, and all that turns into or translates into savings, of course. When you finish your project within schedule, again, by following the proper project management methodology, you save time. You either finish your project ahead of schedule, which means you make real savings, or you finish it within schedule, exactly on schedule, which is, again, you don't waste more time, which means you don't, it's not going to cost you more. You don't spend more on the project. So, and all of us know, guys, time is money. Time is precious. When you exceed your schedule, your project schedule, you're spending more time, which means you're spending more money, which means your project may end up actually losing. So by not exceeding the project schedule, in addition to the fact that you will impress your customer highly, and you achieve higher levels of trust with your customers, at the same time you are avoiding time wastage, and it means you are saving money. Resource utilization. We did say that resource utilization is or lack of utilization is one of the common problems that a lot of people face in projects, and not only in projects, even during or in operational work. When you follow a structured and well-established system or methodology, in this case project management methodology, you are guaranteed that the resource planning that you will do for every project and the coordination that you do internally within your organization and across the functional sections in your organization and the different teams that you may have to interact with, you are guaranteed to have higher levels of utilization, proper utilization of resources. And of course, we all understand that resources mean money. We don't get resources for free. All resources cost us money, whether it being salaries or compensation. We're talking about human resources, or when we talk about other types of resources such as machinery, equipment, facilities, meeting rooms, rental, office rental or location rental, etc., etc. All of these are classified as project resources, and they do cost money. So when I utilize my resources properly, it means I am avoiding extra costs, which means I am making more profit. Staff retention. This is a very important point, guys, because I've seen many establishments or organizations, the staff turnover is high, and the reason for that, the high level of dissatisfaction among their staff. And the reason for the high level of dissatisfaction among their staff is the lack of structured work, and that includes project management, of course. I've seen project resources, they didn't even know what they were going to do the next day on the project. They didn't know what they are supposed to work on. Can you imagine what a nightmare that is? It creates a very uncomfortable environment for the staff. It increases the level of stress that they suffer from, stress and tension, and it creates tension and problems between staff members, and in the end, those staff members will start looking for something else, some other job, some other job that is more relaxed perhaps, or has less stress and tension. The atmosphere is nicer. The job role and description, and that includes their role and responsibility in the project, or the assignments on projects, are clearly defined. They know exactly what they have to do the next day. Not only the next day, they probably know what they have to do 3 months ahead. So all that comes with proper planning and following a proper project management methodology and well-established system. So when you achieve that level of professionalism in your project management, you guarantee that your staff will be performing at their best. They actually will feel more secure, they will enjoy their work, and they will feel that they are productive and valuable members in the project, and all that contributes to higher levels of performance among your staff. This is a very important subject and point. Effective communication. Communication is one of the areas in which we have serious problems in projects. So when you have effective communication in your project, it means no time wasting. That's one of the things, one of the benefits of effective communication. You will not be wasting time on things like generating reports or unnecessary meetings, storing, retrieving, and distributing information. Have you ever noticed how much time some of the project staff or project managers spend on compiling reports, their weekly project status reports? I've seen, actually I've worked in some of these environments where the project manager spends probably 70% of his time just compiling reports. So the project manager turns into a reporting tool, which is one of the things we mentioned in the earlier slides, that project management is not. So project management is not about producing or sending reports. So I want my project manager to be a real project manager and focus on managing and planning the project, not spend most of his time collecting information and putting it in different templates or through different formulas or something like that to generate reports. This is a nightmare for project managers and project management teams and staff. Unnecessary meetings. I have also seen environments in which there are daily meetings, and I mean daily, and I'm talking about 3, 4, maybe 5 hours of meetings per day, just to discuss project status or project issues or things like that. So when you don't have effective communication in your project, you will need to do or to have a lot of meetings to explain things, to justify actions or decisions that you have made, and all of these are big time wasters, guys. They become really time consuming, they become very frustrating, and they lead to a lot of issues and friction and problems between different staff. Information storage, retrieval, and distribution. Now, communication is not only about sending reports or sending emails or massaging information and putting it into different templates or things like that. No, communication is a lot wider. It covers storing project information in a proper way, and in using the proper techniques or systems available to me, and all of that is the essence of defining your communication management plan for your project. Your communication management plan discusses or addresses all of these aspects. It talks about how you will store information, how you will retrieve it, and using what mechanism, what system available, or what tool, and how you will compile it and present it in the form of reports perhaps, or charts, or dashboards, or whatever it is that you want to use to present your project information. This is the essence of information distribution. Project management, project communication management covers things like who receives what, when you send the information, in what format, and how frequently, etc., etc., etc. It's a big part in project management. So as you can see, all of these aspects and more, but these are probably the main factors, all of them will lead to more savings. They will lead to less time wastage, continued business, or more business when you are professional enough to earn the respect of your customers. Continued business with your existing customers when you achieve higher levels of satisfaction, not exceeding your project budget and schedule, and we all know time is money. Also, when I utilize my resources and retain my staff, those staff that I train and invest in their skills and knowledge and competencies, I would like to retain them. When I invest in something, I would like it to pay back the dividends. So when I retain my staff, it's a big saving, because those people who leave me after I have invested in them by sending them to training courses or whatever it is, seminars, or I train them practically on the job, I give them all the experience and knowledge, etc., etc. When they leave me, the simple impact, the least impact that I will get is I need to hire more staff or new staff, which means I need to train the new staff again, and that means spending more time training new staff, spending more money training the new staff, and it will be some time before they become competent enough and productive enough for me to start getting the dividends back. And as we said, the communication here it's a big part, but the main part of effective communication is we avoid wasting time. Right, so let's talk a bit about project management maturity. A study has shown that companies on average, companies that have low levels of maturity in the domain of project management, they suffer schedule delays by 40%. Some of them more. As I said, I've seen projects that exceed their schedule by 100%. And they suffer budget overruns by as much as 20%, and I've seen even worse than that. But this is what they research, the study that the University of California conducted. Let's take an example. I would like to take a simple example to demonstrate what kind of savings or profit you can make by applying project management. proper project management. Let's take, for example, on one of your projects, every resource costs you $100 per day. And we said, guys, that resources are not limited to human resources, of course. So, if I have a delay of 1 month on that project, and I'm going to assume that 1 month means 20 working days, okay? So, every resource costs me $100 per day, and I have a delay of 20 working days. That means $2,000 extra cost for every resource for that duration of delay. So if I have only 5 resources tied up with the project, assume that only 5 resources are assigned to the project and the project suffered a delay of 1 month, we do the math, we will have $10,000 loss in 1 month. As you can see, this is a very simple example, guys. I like to simplify things. Of course, you probably, your projects are much bigger than this, and the resource costs, if you calculate the resource costs for your project, they will be tenfolds that, right? And the problem magnifies, of course, but that gives you an idea of how bad it can be if you suffer only 1 month delay. What about if we exceed our project schedule by 100%? So let's assume that my project is 1 year initially estimated, and I exceed my project schedule by 100%, which means I have 12 months delay. You can work out the amount of loss, the amount of extra cost that I have to bear, and this example takes into account the simple cost of resources. We're not talking about business loss, we're not talking about penalties, we're not talking about legal lawsuits that could be filed against us. We're not talking about loss of continued business or being stricken off from some I don't know, board or some organization's preferred supplier list, etc., etc. So you can imagine the impact of not following or not adhering to well-established project management in our projects. I would like to mention this simple case study. Back in 2004, the Project Management Institute, PMI, chose the Saudi Aramco Harad gas project as the project of the year in 2004. And the reason for that, I'll tell you what the reason was for that. This project, the budget for that project was $2 billion. We're talking about billion, $2 billion. You can imagine how big that was. If I remember correctly, it was the duration estimated for that project, I think it was 3 years. You can read all the details about this project on this webpage, which is published by the PMI. We said that the PMI chose this project as the project of the year for the year 2000. That project used the PMI framework and guidelines in the PMBOK 3rd edition. The PMBOK is the Project Management Body of Knowledge. This is the official framework reference book published by the Project Management Institute. So back in 2004, the 3rd edition was the most recent edition, and this project followed or used the framework highlighted in the PMBOK 3rd edition. to manage the project. Now, this project had many challenges. I'll mention some of them. The processing plant was 100 kilometers away from any civilization, so you can imagine that the nearest civilization to the location of the project, which is the processing plant, was 180 kilometers away, and it was 10 kilometers away from the nearest road. It was in the desert, actually. The summer temperatures in that area often reached 52 degrees or higher. People who live in those areas know what I'm talking about. That project had to build 680 kilometers of pipeline that would bring gas to the plant from 3 different fields. That project was the Harad gas project. Turning the raw gas into a commercial product required high voltage electricity, and they were in the middle of the desert. They needed to build substations and run hundreds of kilometers of lines across the desert, electrical lines. They needed suitable housing for the 1,000 employees and contractors. So those 1,000 people worked in that field in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and they needed suitable housing. And I highlight the word suitable. And they actually needed to build an airfield to transport people, an airfield that can land a Boeing, 777 or something like that. So we're talking about real airplanes, not those small ones. Okay. The results of the project achieved its objectives. That's the main part. The most important thing is for a project is to achieve the objectives. The project actually finished 6 months ahead of schedule. So they saved 6 months out of 3 years. They saved 6 months. Can you believe that? And the project finished 27% under budget. So whatever the budget that was estimated at $2 billion, they actually saved 27% of those $2 billion. And one of the amazing results was not one single injury. Guys, we're talking about 1,000 and more people working on site in extreme temperatures and extreme circumstances, away from civilization, working with high voltage and pipelines and dangerous material and equipment. Not one single injury. How did they achieve that? They achieved that by applying the PMI framework for project management, highlighted in the PIM book 3rd edition. So, let's talk about another aspect or another side of project management helping my organization achieve higher levels of success and growth. I call it continuous improvement, and let's see how that can be achieved. Basically, when you have a well-established and solid project management methodology and you apply it to your projects and business and even normal operational work, at the end of every project, you have lessons learned. Basically, everything that you learned from the execution of your project is captured in the form of knowledge or lessons, and is stored in a knowledge base for the organization. And of course, if we don't have one that already exists, we should establish one that goes hand in hand with having a well-established project management methodology, of course. So the lessons learned, or the lessons that are captured throughout the project, are stored and deposited into the knowledge base, which basically enriches my knowledge base, my project management knowledge base. So every time I start a new project, I have a rich knowledge base to which I can refer to look up estimates, for example, for past projects, or look up issues that past projects faced, or the risks that they encountered, or how they managed and dealt with the suppliers and the subcontractors. Sometimes on many projects you have to deal with multiple suppliers, multiple vendors. How we dealt with that particular client, if they had special scenarios or circumstances or attitudes that we have to take into account, etc., etc., etc. So when I start new projects, I should refer to my knowledge base, my project management knowledge base, and learn from it, which means I can achieve higher levels of competency in every project I start. I should be able to have more accurate estimates for project durations. I should be able to have more accurate estimates for my budget or costs. I should be able to analyze project risks and manage them in a more effective way, because I learned from previous experiences, whether it being my own experiences or somebody else's in the organization. All of these lessons are captured and deposited into the rich knowledge base. So it helps me to achieve higher levels of performance. And all of that, of course, will lead to higher levels of success. And that in turn, of course, translates into business growth, prosperity, and more profit. That's what I call continuous improvement. Something that the project management methodology, establishing a project management methodology and adhering to it and applying it, will definitely help me achieve continuous improvement and achieve higher levels of success. So let's summarize what we talked about. Basically every organization is engaged in some kind of project activity. So that answers the question, who needs project management? Everyone does, guys. Every organization needs some level of project management knowledge and application and methodology. Everyone needs the knowledge and skills at some level. Project managers, for example, need it at detailed level. They need to have intimate and in-depth knowledge of project management or in project management. Other staff may not need that deep detailed knowledge and skills in project management. However, they need to know the essence of project management. They need to know how to communicate with other members, how to perform as project members in the project, because everybody plays a role in our projects and everybody contributes to project success. Project management helps us select the right projects for our organization. Project management methodology and framework employs project selection methods. So when you acquire the knowledge of project management, you will learn some methods and techniques that will help you decide which project or which projects to execute. You need to pick the project that has the the higher returns or whatever it is, the criteria that you focus on. But definitely the project management methodology will help you select the right project for your organization. The project management knowledge and methodology, it will help us to differentiate between projects and operational work or activities, because I have seen so many organizations, they don't differentiate between projects and operational work, and they mix the two, and this means their projects end up not finishing at all. Actually, I've had complaints from organizations or clients to whom I delivered consultancy services. They told me that their main problem was that their projects never end. And when I looked deeper, I realized that what never ended was actually operational work after their projects have actually finished, completed the scope and finished. They should have been turned into operational work, but they never realized that, and they continued charging the never-ending work to the project budget, and of course that created a lot of problems in terms of budget and satisfaction of the customer, etc., etc. Avoiding the firefighting approach to executing projects. This is very important, guys. We said that firefighting is a bad approach. We should plan ahead, we should be prepared, which means we should not have serious fires. I'm happy to accept small fires, right? But definitely not bushfires that go wild and out of control. Project management guarantees better estimates for my projects, estimates of schedules and budgets, and other estimates like resources, for example. Basically, we will be working with estimates instead of guesses, because I have seen so many organizations actually take a wild guess to these aspects of the projects. They say the project duration is 3 months. Okay, how did you work it out? They wouldn't know how to answer that kind of question. As I said before, just a while ago, project estimating is not limited to time and money. It is also related to human resources and other types of resources, such as machinery, equipment, supplies, material, facilities, etc., etc. We achieve higher levels of customer satisfaction by applying project management, and when we apply project management, we have a structured approach and of course higher competency in delivering our work. And in the end, of course, we will have better control, financial, physical, and everything. We will control our projects in every aspect in a much better way. And probably the most important thing is no budget or schedule overruns. When we apply project management methodology, guys, when we have a well-defined, solid methodology and we adhere to it, we are almost guaranteed that we will finish our projects on budget and on schedule. And those who think that this is impossible, I can guarantee you that it is possible with the proper approach to executing your projects, planning your projects first, of course, and then executing. With the proper approach, when you do it right, you are guaranteed that you will finish your projects on time and on budget, or even below budget. Just like the example or the case study we talked about with Aramco's project for the Harad gas field. They finished 6 months earlier with 27% savings. Okay guys, thank you very much. That concludes our session for today, in which we demonstrated and explained how project management can actually help you achieve higher levels of growth in your organization and make more profit. Brought to you by Wave Management Consulting and presented to you by yours truly, Fahad Saad. Thank you very much and have a nice day.